So today I want to talk a little bit about saying no. So if you are like me, there's a lot of times I have FOMO and I don't want to miss something fun, or I feel pressure to say yes to all of the good things. So I want to talk to you and encourage you today that saying no is a necessity. Why? Well, scripture tells us that while all things are permissible, not all things are beneficial. And so, even though we have a lot of good things that we may be choosing from, we need to be evaluating whether they are actually beneficial for us in each season. And every season is going to look differently. Some things that are beneficial in previous seasons are not going to be beneficial for you currently. So remember, even though it's permissible, even though you have an opportunity, even though you have an option, it is still helpful to maybe say no to the things that are not beneficial for you or your family in this season. The second reason why no is a necessity is because with a no, it strengthens our confidence in what we're saying yes to, and it also gives us greater integrity. People know that when you say yes, let your yes be yes and your no be no. We see that in James 5, and it kind of makes sense for us, right? That if we say yes to everything, then the weight of our yes doesn't hold as much value. So it actually gives you greater integrity when you're able to also say no to the things that you know aren't best right now. And then the third reason why no's are a necessity is because each no helps establish healthy boundaries for you, and it provides clarity for you. And over time will lead to greater freedom. So if you are like me and saying no is difficult, I want to give you three tips. All right. The first is to remember you're not just saying no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And if you have a hard time saying no, then I want you to think about what is the positive, what's the flip side of that no? If I say no to this, then what does that mean I get to say yes to? And let that yes be your deeper motivation for the no. The second tip I want to give you is to ask yourself, who is impacted by this decision? When you're faced with two options, you have a yes or a no in front of you. I want you to think about, who does it impact and how? Sometimes I can easily say yes to something without any regard to how it might affect others in my family, or vice versa. Maybe I'll say yes to something because I feel the pressure from someone else, but I forget how it actually will impact me leading up to it in a negative way. So I want you to think about who it impacts and why. Many times our decisions do not just impact us. And so that can help you say no to something that is good, but maybe not be best because of the impact it will have. And then the third tip is to plan ahead as best as you can. Think about those areas that are weaknesses for you, that are difficult for you to say no to. You're going to a meeting, you know someone's going to approach you with a commitment. Decide before you go, would I say yes to this? What would it take for me to say yes to this in this season? Or decide ahead of time, I'm not going to say yes because I know I do not have margin for that. I do not have capacity. So if you can make that decision ahead of time, you will be more than prepared to say no when the time arises without all of the emotions behind it. So I hope this has been helpful to not only remember no's are necessary, but for these three tips to help you make the best no's when the time comes.